our brains appraise ourselves कि क्या मुझको ये आता है, ये चीज जो मुझे नहीं पता, do I have the ability to know it or to learn it? Someone has said कि नहीं मुझे ये नहीं आता. So every time you say that, the child's brain is learning, because of which every time the child is facing some uncertainty, the child will decide not to learn because the child has been told that he or she can't learn. So NASA had developed a questionnaire for its engineers, and then some scientists had modified it for children. It is not a label on the child, but rather which is each learner. And it's not just learner, it's also adults. We also have a predominant way in which we are curious. So suddenly when they reach the age of 4, we think, oh, now they need all this external motivation. So things like marks or like stars, okay, these are external motivators to make you learn. Because eventually you have to grow up, you'll have to work with a team of people, you have to interact with these people. You will realize that you alone cannot succeed in life. Stop telling them that they can't do something. Let them fail. Don't rebuke them when they fail. Failure is not a bad thing. Failure is something you absolutely have to do if you want to learn anything new.
Namaskar Bharat, welcome to the EST show. Today we are here with a topic which is very important for the parents and the educators as well, especially catering to the education system in India right now. ये तो हमें पता ही होगा कि हर बच्चा जो है एक नेचुरल क्यूरोसिटी के साथ ही पैदा होता है। वो सवाल पूछने से नहीं डरता, किसी चीज को छूने से नहीं डरता, कहीं जाने से नहीं डरता। Then what suddenly happens while the kid starts growing up? ये सवाल पूछने की टेंडेंसी कैसे कम होती जाती है? And why does the kid always seem to be searching for the right answer? क्या ऐसा होता है जो उसे गलत जवाब देने से रोक देता है जाकर के? And on the top of it, सोसाइटी जो है लेबल कर देती है बच्चों को, he or she is very intelligent, he or she is average, he or she is very naughty, he and she can perform great, he or she can't do it maybe. लेकिन सवाल ये है कि ये बच्चों की लेबल करने का सोच हम सबको मिली कहाँ से? Is it really that something defines the kid, or is it something that defines the thought process that has just come into our heads? To literally talk on this topic, joining us today is Alok Karnare, founder of The Curious Fold. She's an educator, researcher, and learning designer who works at the intersection of learning science and real classroom practice. इन्होंने बच्चों के साथ बहुत काम किया है in different fields and trying out different ways of learning, and the majority what she has worked on working on the curiosity of the kids, making them curious enough so that they love what they learn. Welcome to the EST show, Alok Parnaji. So happy to have you here. And
Thank you
as
so
you
much
said,
for having me.
yes, as you said rightly, I'll be calling you as AP for everyone. So that's going to be easy for me. So, dear APG, thank you for being part of the show again. And the work that you have done is very interesting in the field of child education. And I would say it is somewhere related to going back the roots, and it is high time that we start understanding it. So, what better than starting to understand it from the professional with practical, sustainable evidence so that our people understand that it's, especially the education industry, that it's time to move on. Because if the education industry doesn't change, then I don't see it going anywhere, because that's where the mass change begins. So, APG, I think Indian families, sabne suna hoga, almost everyone would have heard these with the students, he or she is brilliant, she or he is very average. This child doesn't want to study. This child is very anxious. No, I want to understand, how do these labels really, impact the child's brain? Because I'm a parent myself. We just do it unknowingly. We say these things. How does it impact a child? Because it's not that we want to say it or we mean it, but we probably are so much conditioned, and when we hear these words in our society, we have been hearing them when we were small, and the same thing comes out to us when we are speaking to our kids and their friends. The comparison just, comes by default.
Right.
So, I want to understand, are we misunderstanding children? How can we be conscious about it to start with?
Yes, so it's a lovely question. So when we talk about curiosity, it comes in 4 stages. Okay. So one of the most important stage when a learner decides whether I will be curious and learn about this something new, or is this too risky for me, is called the appraisal phase. Okay. In the appraisal phase, what happens is our brains appraise ourselves कि क्या मुझको ये आता है, ये चीज जो मुझे नहीं पता, do I have the ability to know it or to learn it. This is where exactly what you are saying as what adults tell the kids कि तुमसे ये नहीं होगा, ये छोड़ दो, this is too much for you, this is too difficult for you. Okay. Now every time you're telling the child that, the child's brain is remembering कि my mother, my father, my aunt or my friend had told me कि I can't do it. So when that time comes for the brain to decide कि will I learn something new, in the appraisal phase the brain will tell itself कि नहीं, मुझे तो मेरा someone has said कि नहीं, मुझे ये नहीं आता. So every time you say that, the child's brain is learning, because of which every time the child is facing some uncertainty, the child will decide not to learn because the child has been told that he or she can't learn. And every time they practice not learning, the brain will learn that they can't learn. So you see, it's a cycle.
The
So
loop.
the more you go into uncertainty, the more your brain will tell itself कि नहीं, मुझे I can go into uncertainty and solve the uncertainty, and the more uncertainty your brain will go towards. Versus if you tell your brain कि I can't do it, brain will practice that it can't do it, and the more it will actually not do it. Okay. So it has a very direct impact on the child's learning, development, growth, all of it. You know, there was this very interesting study on 1000 plus kids in the kindergarten. Okay. So NASA had developed a questionnaire for its engineers, and then some scientists had modified it for children. Okay. And this test was given to 1000 plus kindergarteners, and 98% of them, 98% of them scored at the genius level.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
And now they took the same set of kids. Okay, so it's a longitudinal study, matlab same bacche.
Same
Okay?
much.
They did the test with the same kids when they were 15. 15 matlab 15 years old, matlab when you're more or less finishing education. Right? Kindergarten says
Yes.
start hua, and age 15 is when they are finishing education.
And so actually they took this research to 15 years.
Correct.
Wow.
But they took the same kids. They asked when they were in kindergarten, 98% scored at the genius level. The same set of kids at the age of 15, only 12% scored at genius level. Okay. So what happened? है ना, बीच में ऐसा क्या हो गया कि 98% से the number dropped to 12% कि the same बच्चे का scoring at genius level reduced. So of course I am saying like all the teachers and the parents and the schools, a lot of them, they are trying their best. But it is high time we question what else can we do. And like you said that if we don't change education, then if you think about it, the kids now, everything else apart from their studies, everything else that they are exposed to, whether it's content on social media, whether it's content on OTT platform, whether it's fast food, all of it, they are engineered to be addictive. You know, a lot of
Obviously.
money goes into, for example, deciding the ratio of salt to sugar to oil in a French fry. Okay. But how much work is going on into making your studies addictive? Hardly anything. You know?
So
And
it's not
so now
change. In fact, if
Correct.
I talk about India, I mean, specifically talking about India, I think we have just inherited an education system. We have not done lot of work to involve in what we were doing and what were the practical advantage to it. Something was there which started, and almost 78 years down the after the independence, also we are failing to change it. So that's where I see the problem is where we need to. What you are basically trying to say is that structural thinking for the brain where it is to happen. So it's going into more into mugging up or getting the kids ready for the factory setup. But factories are
Correct.
dissolving now. I mean, so the way
Correct.
the industry, the world
Yeah.
is performing now, it's changed. So
It's changing.
it's mandatory to
Yeah.
change. If you don't change now, then everything collapses. I mean, probably that's what I see.
Yes. Yes. And if you think about it, so the present school system, the modern day school system where this education happens in batches, which is decided by ages. So you enter at a certain age and then tuck, tuck, tuck karke one class you do and you pass out, right? So
Right.
this system actually came out around 200 years back during the Industrial Revolution
Yes.
because that time the world needed workers. So the
Mm.
education system was also kind of like a batch processing. So you get a batch of kids, you process them over time, and then you output them, and now they are ready to go and join the job market.
My
So
God,
that is
see?
the that yes. So that was the idea behind this kind of education system. And right now if you think 200 years back, probably we were using horse carts for transport. Okay, the first phone would have been invented. Now imagine if abhi tak we were using horse carts for transport. So
Mm.
everything else has changed with time. Communication has changed,
Mm.
travel has changed. But when it comes to education, the main format of it has still remained both 200 years back wala, which
Absolutely,
was developed
absolutely.
for the industrial revolution.
Yeah, and I surely see the need to change it, and that's what I think the people like you and everyone, I mean, is trying to do that. The only thing which I fail to understand, everyone is trying to do that. Everyone wants understands the need. Parents understand the need, but why do education systems fail to understand the change? I mean, that's a question for a different day, I think. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
the main thing.
That's for these parents and the schools to answer. I
Yes.
would like to believe that everyone has the intention to make a change. They are just struggling in see every time whoever is the first person to do something new, they also have to take the risk, and people are not very open to taking that risk.
Mm.
But
Yes,
let's hope
that's
it
very true.
changes someday. Yes.
Yeah. So now, coming to the next question, AP. So in your videos, you have really spoken about the type I and type D. I wanted to understand this. What is this labeling? Again, are we not labeling? That's one question. So what is this type I type of kids, type D type of kids? How do you define it, and why are we even labeling?
Okay, so see, type I, type D, they are more than type of kids. They are drivers of individual curiosity. So I stands for interest and D stands for deprivation. Okay, now every individual has a predominant motivator for their curiosity. Okay, now I type curious would be a person who needs to be exposed to a lot of new things and then something will catch their interest. Okay, so that is the what the I stands for. Okay. Now there can be some people who are deprivation. So D stands for deprivation as a motivator for curiosity. So for example, it can be like there are some people who you will see can sit with a puzzle for very, very, very long. They have no interest in saying 20 different things. But they need that one puzzle which they can't solve, or some one question they can't solve, or like something is broken and they want to fix it. So these two are not types of learners, but it's rather which is our predominant driver of curiosity. And why it's important to know as a teacher, if I know that one child is predominantly deprivation driven, so I will frame an assignment or a particular lecture in a way that will trigger that person ka deprivation. Like for example, let's say I want to talk about, I want to teach photosynthesis. Okay.
Mm.
Now, I can trigger this topic in a lot of ways. So, for a D type person whose drive for learning is deprivation, I can point out something that that person probably does not know. For example, I can say, okay, why are leaves green? Find out why are leaves green. Okay. So that is one particular question, and the child will go deep into that question and reach photosynthesis while answering that one question. Okay. Versus now, let's say if I am dealing with a student who is predominantly I type curious, who is interest driven. So maybe for that child, I will have to show a lot of pictures of different plants, and some have purple leaves and some have green leaves, and see which among those stimuli catches that child's interest. So it is not a label on the child, but rather which is each learner. And it's not just learner, it's also adults. We also have a predominant way in which we are curious. So it's good for us to know ourselves. It's good for us to know
Absolutely.
the learners that we work with, just so that we can make them better learners.
So I and D is I interest driven and D
Correct.
you said
Is deprivation driven.
is
Deprivation. So
deprivation
deprivation of
driven.
knowledge. Like वो
Deprivation of
भूख,
knowledge.
हाँ, जैसे
कुछ जानने
the
की
hunger,
भूख.
हाँ,
Hunger to
कुछ
know.
जानने की भूख, हाँ. So
Okay,
it's like
so
I
there's
don't know this,
हाँ.
like I don't know this, and this is causing me in a way like a deprivation कि मुझे ये जानना है.
मुझे जानना है. So there's nothing good or bad about A or B. There are different
No.
levels of curiosity.
It
Oh,
is
that's
just different drivers of curiosity, and if you know your own driver and you know your learner's driver, you can just curate the education with that knowledge.
I think this is very important in terms of understanding what the kid's type is. And I believe this also questions the ability of the teacher if they are IND, because if they are of a certain interest, they can then only they can take on to some different kind of kid, right? Otherwise, there is a I would say mental disalignment is there. I mean, if you are of one particular category and you are trying to, cater to the kids of other kind of curiosity level. So I think ये पूरा एक human level पे काम करता है कि teachers should also understand what is my level of curiosity and
Correct.
engagement, which are the kids which I'll get interested and more engaged with. So I believe it's a complete framework where teachers also need to work on them. Like you said, it's not only for the kids, it's for the adults as well.
Yes, it's also for the adults. And the thing is, like if I as a teacher, I know I am more D-type curious, I should be aware of it. It doesn't mean that I can't work with kids who are I-type, but it is always good to be aware of what is your driver of curiosity. And the other thing is curiosity is contagious. So it is almost like a virus. If you're in a room with people who are curious, your curiosity will come out. It is actually not possible to be a curious person, but I am surrounded by everyone jinme there is no, who are not showing curiosity. My curiosity will not come out, which means that if a teacher is not curious, if a teacher who is not curious cannot make curious students.
Yeah, that's very interesting. A teacher who is not curious cannot make curious students.
Yeah.
So anyway, so teachers who are trained to build up machines, so then you're only producing batches in the same
Correct.
industry.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, very, very, very interesting. So let's just go on a hypothetical situation. In a family, there are two kids. I mean, one scores 95%, say, and the other one scores 68%. What might be actually triggering in the kid's brain, and how should the parents handle this? And what does a
When
kid think from a sibling point of view? Because from the kids, what I understand, their comparison level is we might understand, but they don't. From the kids' point of view, their comparison levels are high. Their ego levels are high. At times, it's a struggle from parents to make them understand because probably they don't even understand those feelings that probably you are in a comparison mode or you are taking it on your ego, which you aren't supposed to. So, how does a kid's brain process it, and what is a parent or an instructor supposed to do in this situation?
Okay, so uh, when we think of learning, we think of school and exam. Okay, but let's go back to the first few things that a baby learns. Okay, so a baby learns to talk, a baby learns to crawl, a baby learns to walk, right? A baby learns eye contact. All these things, when the baby is learning, there is no exam, there is no scolding to sit to study. Everything the baby is learning on their own.
It's
Okay. So
environmental learning which is happening.
correct. Now, for some reason, whenever a child reaches the age of 4, see, till the age of 4, the bacha is learning on their own. Okay. No one has to scold the bacha ki no, stand. Now you have to walk. Or like look at your friend, that person scored 98% in walking and you're scoring 70% in walking. ठीक है?
Right.
So we sometimes forget कि बच्चा is learning on their own. So suddenly when they reach the age of 4, we think, oh, now they need all this external motivation. So things like marks or like stars, okay? These are external motivators to make you learn, okay? What are internal motivations? Internal motivations are simple, ki bachcha saw something which was far away. Bachcha wanted to reach it, so bachcha crawled. And that is how bachcha learned to crawl. Bachcha saw parents walk. Bachcha tried it a few times, took help from some table or chair to stand up, then took a few steps on their own and they walk. Now imagine if every time the bachcha fell down, okay, bachcha tried to walk, bachcha fell down, and we call that a failure, or let's say we graded it, okay, like you can walk, so you pass, you fall, you are failing. We would None of us would ever learn to learn if would none of us would ever learn to walk if we took that failure to heart. कि एक बार I tried to walk, I failed, तो बस अब I don't walk anymore. Okay. So now when it comes to marks, first of all, these are extrinsic motivators. Okay. It is shown that any kind of extrinsic motivator to make you learn actually kills your intrinsic motivation to learn. You don't learn for the sake of learning, you learn for that marks. Okay.
Right.
Which means that, so there is this idea in exam that there is one correct answer, right? You don't have freedom to explore different options, to think about different options and then reach one conclusion. It's usually like this is a question, iska yehi answer hona chahiye, ye answer hoga, so you will get certain marks, and ye answer nahi hoga, so you get less marks. Okay. Now, whenever there is one child who gets a high percentage and another child that gets a lower marks in school, uh, kids by themselves, they don't know the meaning of it. It's usually the adults. It can be either adults in their family or adults in their friends ka circle who make them aware that 95% is good and 68% is bad. Okay. So I think to start with until and unless, like, see, we have to be practical. Class 10th May, 12th May, so there is an importance of your grade which goes to impact the rest of your life. But uske alawa, as adults, we can also just take away the importance of the grade, firstly. Secondly, we can, as teachers or schools, we can look at the grades not as something that the kids have managed to get, but see it as how much have I as a teacher succeeded in teaching the child. See, we think of grades as what? Ki this 68% ne, matlab bachcha did not learn as much as this other bachcha learned. But if you just flip the script and think of it like that as a teacher or as a parent, ki this is how much I could teach this child versus this is how much I could teach this child. So
Right.
then the test is no longer a mark on how good or bad a learner the student is, but versus how good are we at teaching the child.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So in general, these are my main takes on marks. That firstly, we should not focus on them too much because they kill a child's intrinsic motivation to learn. Okay.
So basically, hmm.
And now the main skill that kids need to have in today's day and age, with AI and so much tech, where ratta is useless. Okay. Like
It's useless.
there is no importance of ratta in your work life anymore. Okay. So the skill that you need to have is to be a learner. Okay. The
Yes.
skill to be a lifelong learner. And
I
every time,
think, yeah, you're right. Sorry, complete it.
yeah, and every time, you are focusing on the grade, you are kind of making how do I put it? Every time you focus on the grade, you are rewarding this external reward, which is taking away your child's internal motivation to learn, which is I think is not something we can afford to do with kids in today's
No,
day and age.
I think we cannot afford it all now. Like what you said, I totally agree with each point. What schools are doing right now, probably they're rewarding obedience and structure rather than you have to move where you need to reward learning. So any
Correct.
kind of growth, I think in today's world, and I probably talk about it in all my podcasts with all my and with all my guests. What I believe right now is, like you said, we're in a different era, and I work for an IT industry myself. So I've seen those changes, just from the internet coming and the computer now where we are. So, like you said, whatever it's not holding, it's going to break down. So, what was true years back, probably millennia back, that you're here for learning, so it's coming back. You don't have to basically ratify anything. And the very first statement you just said with the kid always learns on their own. We forget that they're
Yeah.
learning. We
Yeah.
forget. I mean, we just, I think you just need to give a little push. And
Yeah.
I've been trying to do it myself. And I think we just need to observe and focus on the safety of the kids. till the time they're vulnerable or not able to protect themselves. And we are talking about learning, and I also feel that there's one very important point which is neglected in the education system, and it's just the subject for the sake of being a subject, which is PT, physical education. Kids need that the most. I mean, because you need to develop the strength of this body. Eventually, you'll learn seeing time, doing calculations. That will, like I said, it will come. Because a vegetable vendor also does that, right? He's not an engineer, but he knows calculations.
Right.
So, I think this makes no sense, and I see it with the kids all around because homework, you're just giving homeworks makes no sense because everything is available, all information is available. But how much that kid has actually understood that concept, probably that's the only thing you need to be aware of.
Correct.
Super.
Correct.
So, Ipi, coming to the next question, you must have seen it in life, obviously, and I've also seen it. But again, who succeeds in life? Is it the person who has got good grades in school? Or, probably the grades didn't matter and they still became great. There are ample examples of that. So what is that thing? What differentiates the two? Because I've seen that the grade somehow, once you've scored in, it just fails. 5 years down the line, 6 years down the line in the industry, it just fails. So what is changing over there?
So, see, firstly, I will say success is personal, but I can tell you from my observation of my friend circle around me, usually kids who get very high scores in school, a lot of them, what happens to them is they become very scared to fail.
Mm.
So because they are always like the good student,
Fear of
you know, so
failure.
they are, so they develop this fear that I, like, you put them on a pedestal, that this is the good bacha. अच्छा बच्चा इसका तो बहुत अच्छा होगा. So from such a young age, because they are, kind of, and also like I said, like every time you are putting focus on grade, it's an external uh, motivation for learning. So firstly, a lot of the kids burn out by the time it's actually, like, when you actually have to work. By then you have already like studied so much and have experienced so much pressure in school and in college to get good grades that you are simply burnt out. Secondly, you have a fear of failing, because of which you are not comfortable trying new things. And the thing with failing is, see, if I keep doing the one thing that I know and exactly that, I will not fail, but I will also not learn anything.
Absolutely.
But the moment I decide that I want to learn something new, I want to take a risk, there is a chance of failure. So, what often happens with a lot of high performing kids in school is that um, they kind of lose their energy. Now, having said that, it's not true for all the kids. Of course, there are kids who have scored very well in school and still go on to score very well in life. I'm just saying that for some of the kids, this is what happens. However, if you see the people who have really made history in life, are people who found that one thing that they are curious about, one answer they wanted to solve, one problem they wanted to solve, and they took that to an extreme level. You can be curious about the simplest of things. Like, let's say, like for for example, uh, for me, so this is something that I was thinking just yesterday, because I don't like having to decide what I want to eat every day. Okay. So I was just thinking that if there was an app, some kind of tech that would decide this for me. Okay. Now, of course, for me, I'm not curious about this to actually take it to the extreme end. But for every entrepreneur or every person whose names today we know, they all took one
That
thing that
one
they were
idea.
correct,
Mm.
that one idea that made them excited, that they wanted to learn more about, and they took it to the extreme level. And those are the people who stand out.
And
So,
they succeeded. I
yes,
think we have books and we have our ministers, our prime ministers, our industrialists.
correct.
I would only name a few who would be the top graders. Other
Yes.
than, I mean, what you said, they have been curious and they've been so passionate about that one goal. Probably there was
Yeah.
no. So over here, probably there's come one point that you mentioned, curiosity. plus passion and giving it a direction. I think that's what will decide
Yes.
who are you going to become.
Correct.
And
Correct.
probably as educators, you would need to understand that what is the direction the kids wants to go. Maybe.
Yes. Correct. So, sorry. I just- So, so, the thing is, when we talk about passion, it kind of comes with being curious.
Hmm.
Because when we are curious, there are parts of our brain that light up, okay, which, for example, releases dopamine. So we are already feeling happy about the
Happy.
thing that we are going to be curious about, okay.
Right.
Then the parts of the brain that usually light up for a gambler, let's say when someone is gambling and they're expecting the paisa to come, no, or like someone who's addicted to chocolate when they are anticipating ki chocolate is coming. So the addictive part of the brain, that part that lights up for addictive substances, is the same part light up also when you are curious, which means
Yeah.
that the information you get, okay, so if I'm curious to know something, then wo jo information milta hai uske baad, that is treated like a reward in our brain, okay. Then
Sorry, I'll
when I
take a
talk,
pause here. लेकिन आपने एक बहुत important बात कही यहाँ पे, which is clicked me, and I want to tell this to my audience. You said that जब आप curious होते हो और जब आप addictive होते हो, तो same part आपका brain का activate हो जाता है, lightens up somehow because you're getting that dopamine, you're feeling that happy. So this is such an important statement to understand for the kids who are, sorry to say, but there are young kids which are getting into weeds, into drugs and all those things. अगर उनको एक ऐसा फैक्टर मिल जाए जो उनकी क्यूरियोसिटी को ट्रिगर कर रहा है, then this thing goes away. I mean, probably
yeah,
because you need that something, to just enlighten you up. Well, that is,
yes,
sorry to pause you, but just came to my mind and I thought I'll bring it up.
yes,
Mm.
definitely. So it's the same parts of the brain which are related to addiction that light up when you are curious, which is why sometimes you will see, if you are suddenly very curious about something and you're reading about it, going into it, you go into the rabbit hole and you lose track of time. So it's the same thing, okay.
To see.
Then parts of the brain that help you focus, those parts of the brain light up, okay.
Mm.
Parts of the brain that help you remember information, those parts are also activated, which means that any information you are reading or listening, when you are curious, your brain remembers it more, okay. And now the final thing is, see, learning happens when I get some information, some new knowledge, okay. Now that knowledge needs to be connected with my existing knowledge network. So think of it like a jigsaw puzzle, okay.
Mm.
So imagine I give you a piece of a jigsaw puzzle, okay, without any reference, कुछ नहीं, बस ऐसे ही दे दिया. You will look at it and you'll keep it somewhere and forget, है ना? But now I give you a jigsaw puzzle का piece and I show you how this piece is connected to another bigger puzzle that you are building. Okay. Now this छोटू सा जो piece I have given you, this is more important to you because you can connect it to your existing jigsaw puzzle and you will also not lose it. So the same happens with knowledge. So if I just read something and if I don't analyze it and I don't understand it and I don't connect what it means for my existing knowledge network, I am not learning. I will just remember it one day, next day in the exam I will write it, day after tomorrow I will forget it. It will have no
Wow.
relevance to me. Okay. So which is why when I talk about curiosity driven learning, it is just the art of how can you make your brain curious. एंड उसके बाद जो मतलब जो सिलेबस है वही सिखाओ, बिकॉज वी ऑल्सो हैव टू बी प्रैक्टिकल इन द इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट दैट रातों रात ही, लाइक इट्स नॉट लाइक टुमारो द स्कूल्स आर गोइंग टू चेंज, है ना, बट there are atomic changes that you can do which are sustainable, which are not going to cost you like thousands of rupees to completely change your school system. जो है वैसे ही रखो, but उसमें what are the small atomic changes that you can make, जिससे जो भी मुझे पढ़ाना है, whatever topic is it, let's say I have to teach about density to my class tomorrow. What are the ways in which I can make the child first curious to learn it? Like think about it like food. If I want to feed you something, I should make you first want to eat it. Like if you're full and you don't want to eat it, वो खाने से कुछ नहीं होगा. Okay, it's the same for learning. तो पहले
Absolutely.
बच्चे को थोड़ा क्यूरियस बना दो, उसके बाद give the information, then it will be remembered better, it will be assimilated better. The bachcha will actually understand the topic, and bachcha will also understand the topic in the context. You know,
Absolutely. It is,
कि
yeah,
why do
very
I need to
nice.
study this? पढ़ना
Hmm.
क्यों है ये?
पढ़ना
You know,
क्यों है
like
ये करना क्यों है, ये खाना
ये
क्यों है?
हाँ, ये जानना क्यों है? Like I remember in school when we were taught World War One, World War Two history in Europe. Okay, I used to think like इससे मुझे क्या? यूरोप में कहीं पे कुछ हो रहा है, वो भी 100 साल पहले. Why do I need to know that now?
Right. Why do I need to know it?
So one should always make it clear to the बच्चा कि उसको क्यों पढ़ना है ये.
Absolutely.
And तब बच्चा will अपने आप
Hmm.
study a lot.
I think the ये curiosity driven, like you rightly said, कि start doing the atomic changes. मुझे लगता है great. That's my personal opinion. कोई तो टेस्टिंग का पैरामीटर चाहिए ही हमको. आई एम नॉट. तो एपी, यू मेंशन अ वेरी गुड पॉइंट. वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट अ जिक्सॉ पजल कि एक पजल है, इंडिविजुअली शायद इट विल नॉट मेक सेंस. You will have to identify, I mean, if you have a bigger puzzle, you will try to identify where it fits in. Very, I mean, off this topic, लेकिन मुझे लग रहा है कि this is literally talking about when we talk about the ancient practices of, there's a thought which comes in, you channelize it, and finally you put into action. Otherwise, nothing happens. Then it's precisely a vague thing. So what you rightly said, that give your curiosity a direction, you do something about it, you study something about it. Because until unless you're not no, focusing on it or putting into action, then it's just vague. You're not putting it into a pattern. So you have to put it into a pattern so that it makes sense. Else, it's just something that came and it was just a random piece which made no sense altogether. What I feel is that that's my thing. That grading kaise hatega, I don't know. But like you said, I mean, if you're studying about a leave or something, so a grading mechanism could be that probably did the child understand the concept? It could be that the child is not able to write about it. It could be that the spellings are not very good or the writing is not very good. But did the child understand the concept? How is this working in nature? Probably that should be the marking mechanism and not actually the grades that you're getting. I don't know. Maybe that could be one way. And
Right.
I don't know, but I think schools will need to decide on how do you want to grade the kids in terms of learning, understanding, writing, physical education, of course, which is at a very low scale right now. At least in India, I know that it's at a very low scale. I don't know about Germany what it follows. So, but that's something need to be pepped up because uh, physically, since you have in this child learning phase, how important do you feel early till the age of 12 or 13 this physical education is? Because what I've learned is that during when the girls at least start getting into the time when they start on their periods and all, your physical capacity gets a little lower down. So you're literally till the age of 12 or 13, it's demanded, your body demands your physical education. Why are the schools killing it? And how important as an educator you see it to get the physical things getting done in the school and being a core part of the education?
So I am a very big proponent of sports with kids
Mm.
because it, apart from see the physical aspect of it, that if you play you are fitter, that's a given. Everyone knows that. But
Right.
along with that, I think there are life skills that a sports can teach you. For example, a sport like football, it teaches you collaboration, it teaches you teamwork, it
Absolutely.
teaches you the interpersonal skills which are actually in life as important, if not more important than the classes that you attend. Because eventually you have to grow up, you'll have to work with a team of people, you have to interact with these people. You will realize that you alone cannot succeed in life.
We are a
You always
social
need
animal.
people. Correct. We
Right?
are social animals. So when it comes to that, I am a big proponent of कि कुछ भी खेलो. Like play something. You don't even have to be good at that game.
Hmm.
You can play any sport, but just the act of going to sport, going to play this game with your teammates, then the discipline that comes with it. The
Hmm.
kind of thing where you are tired, but you have to still keep going,
Yes.
You can't, if you're playing a
Never
match,
say
you
no.
can't just suddenly give up. You will have to play for yourself. You'll have to play for your teammates. This thing that if I don't play, then my team suffers. So
Absolutely.
all these skills come into the picture when you are playing a sport. And I think sports are great ways to develop holistic humans
Holistic human.
who
Such a
are
beautiful point. Yes.
who are not just uh, studying, but
Yeah.
for example, if a bacha is doing any kind of mixed martial arts, okay, something they learn is how to keep falling and getting up. Or actually in
Mm.
any sport, like even in football or any of these sports where you have to fall, you have to get up, you win, you get so used to losing and winning, and you realize that winning, losing, falling down, getting up, getting like bruised in your hands and legs, all of these are part of life.
And
And
all of these are
those,
part of the game, and that's how you start tricking it.
exactly, they are all part of the game. You cannot play football without getting hurt. You cannot do certain martial arts without having a few bruises in your arms and legs. And it's all a part of the game. Most of it is not personal. When you get hurt and all these things,
Mhm.
you fall down, you have to get up, and you have to start playing. So
Yeah.
the physical health aspect of it is definitely one thing, but I feel there are also all these added benefits
This is beautiful.
to.
I think those are the best benefits.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. And for me personally, I felt that my brain also works better if I do some kind of physical activity sometime in the day.
I
So
think
my
it's
brain.
everyone. I guess we're talking about this because we stopped being physical at some point of time. That's why this discussion happens. I mean, if you're almost physical, your body is all, I think, already attuned. You have good sleep, you have good hunger, you eat well, you rest well, automatically things
Yeah.
fall in place. We are
Yes.
discussing this right now. We stopped being physical. Probably that's where it got. We just became stagnant, and life was all about flow. It was never about being stagnant.
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
And I also believe, like, let's say there is a student who loves playing cricket. ठीक है, बच्चा who loves to play cricket, and he or she, they are so passionate about cricket कि they want to make a cricket bat or a football, for example, by their own. Okay. Now, through the act of making cricket bat, for example, there are a lot of topics that can be taught.
yeah.
So, for example, what wood is used to make cricket bat? It's willow. What kind of willow? So there is English willow, Kashmiri willow. What is the difference? Why is that the difference between both are willow, but then why is Kashmiri willow different from English willow? Okay. What is the height of the bat? What is the mass of the bat? What is the shape of the bat? So you see, like, we kind of try to we see it as something separate, like sports as something which is very different from the curriculum.
Mm.
But if we really find a child who loves cricket, usko cricket ke through ही you can teach the entire curriculum. I just gave an example of a
Absolutely.
cricket bat, but you can find a particular um, topic in sports that a बच्चा is very passionate about. Like पूरा दिन उसको बस वही खेलना है.
Mm.
ठीक है, तो फिर वो ही लेके उसके अराउंड ऑल्सो यू कैन बिल्ड अ करिकुलम दैट इज वेरी स्पेसिफिक टू दैट चाइल्ड.
Mm.
बट वो बच्चा फिर सब कुछ बहुत इजीली सीख भी जाएगा क्योंकि उसको लग रहा है वो क्रिकेट खेल रहा है या फुटबॉल खेल रहा है, जो भी
Absolutely.
उसको करना है वो कर रहा है.
Yes, I think कितना सुंदर है ना. And it's not about, like you just talked about bat making. Bat का I think a certain shape भी होता है. You learn so much about how you make those angles. How do you shave it so that it gets the correct height to the ball? I mean, basically, it's teaching you complete science.
कंप्लीट साइंस, एग्जैक्टली.
आपने बोला कि पूरा करिकुलम बना सकते हैं इसका. I have this concern, and I'm here to share it. What happens in India right now is post class 8th, most of the schools they are giving a very specific education or making batches to the students who want to go in engineering or become doctors, right? So specific. पहला question, कितने engineers बना लोगे आप? इतनी तो positions नहीं है. And then I, like you talked about personalized, curriculum. तो मेरा question ये है, and I have a concern as well. So why do you have these specialized classes only for these students? By default, you are making other students feel lower. If you have something specific for engineering and doctorate students. You're putting them in separate batches. You think academically they're sound. Why don't you have a separate curriculum who just wants to sing and learn music? Why don't you have a separate curriculum like for sports? Why don't you have a separate curriculum for someone who just loves dancing? I mean, why can't they go ahead and study ancient dance and all? So that is where my concern comes, is that probably isn't the education system biased, just focusing on few points and not focusing on others? Because
Definitely. So, the education system right now in India, as far as I am aware of, please correct me if I'm wrong, the focus is still on making engineers and doctors.
yeah, it is absolutely
Okay.
it is.
And these, me as someone who has studied engineering in India, I can
Me
say
too.
that, okay, yes. So, most people who go into engineering actually don't even know what is engineering. It is just something we know that हाँ, इससे नौकरी मिलती है.
Right, that's the statement. That's the end goal.
And you go. Huh. Now, see, with the doctors, it's different because you cannot get into medicine in India until and unless you really want to be a doctor. So, I have seen with doctors, I have doctors in the family, I have seen doctors how much they have to study to get into medicine, and they have to keep studying for the next 10 years of their life plus.
Yeah.
So, these with the doctors, I feel that they are at minimum very passionate about the subject, like biology, uska different things. With engineers, it's a different ball game. It's like most engineers think that we will go into engineering because we like science, which also begs the question that if you like physics or if you like maths, why don't you study that? Why is it that if I like maths and if I like physics, I have to study engineering? And even within engineering, no one knows what is the difference between electrical engineering, communications engineering, mechanical engineering. So we are choosing these just based on job opportunities. We know कि communications पढ़ोगे तो इतना ये job होगा, computer science पढ़ोगे तो ये job होगा. And what it means is that this entire batch of people have probably never even explored what their curiosities are.
Yes,
What are their
absolutely.
interests?
Never
Which is why a
explored.
lot of these breakout professions, like you will see like a lot of comedians who are from engineers, lot of podcast hosts who are from engineers, because engineers are now finally getting the time and the idea that हाँ we can think कि हाँ हमें करना क्या है.
Right. Absolutely.
And
So I think the curiosity needs to be explored, and I
yes.
would just go ahead and vouch for a uniform system. Yes, you focus on one aspect, that's very good, but don't ignore the others. And I would vouch on the fact, like you said, engineering. Then you said doctors. You have to be passionate about it. Believe me, you will get fewer dancers who would be interested in Kathak. It's so hard to get that skill. So
Yeah.
it is so hard to get that skill. I mean, if someone who wants to train in Kathak or Bharatnatyam, also, how many people do you get that? So can you
Yeah.
get that skill, or that is the person really has to be passionate about that to learn that skill. So just have, I think it makes the students happy also, because it doesn't make them feel lowered. That probably I'm in some sections and not with those students who are academically sound, but I'm in a section which proves my ability, which likes me being there. Probably. Wow.
Yes. So something that is very learner. So it's all about putting the learner, the student, at the center of the learning. You know, like now the education system right now is like ये system है. If you fit into it, then good. Otherwise, bye bye. It's like that. You know, so if you think of it like any other product that is sold, no other product that is sold, usme the product is fixed regardless of the customer feedback. You know, here in this case, it's like if you think of the school as the product and the bache and the parents and everything are the customers, if there is a negative feedback, it's like you are wrong. Like you don't like our product, so you are wrong. Versus a system where you put the child at the center and think कि like okay ये बच्चे को क्या चाहिए, while also being practical कि हाँ 10th का 10th pass certificate तो चाहिए, 12th pass, you like a child needs the 12th pass certificate, but in India now you have open board. So you have open schooling now where you don't have to be affiliated with CBSE, ICSE or any of these boards. There is a separate board for people who homeschool their kids.
Right.
and they can still get the 10th and the 12th pass certificates.
Mhm. So, AP, since we have talked so much about it, I don't know when we don't know when the system would change completely. But if we talk about these atomic changes, what should, as parents, we should start doing now? And what should, as educators, we should do now? If someone is listening, what do I do as a change as a parent? What do I do as a change right now if I'm teaching in a school at atomic level for my
Firstly,
kids?
we have to stop believing that we know best.
Yeah.
We have to give the child enough autonomy to decide उनको क्या करने में मजा आता है, उनको क्या करने का मन है, उनको कब क्या करने का मन है. ऑफ कोर्स विद इन रीजन. आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि मतलब कभी भी कुछ भी करने दो, बट गिव देम मोर ऑटोनॉमी to path their learning. That's the first thing I will say. Second, I will say is the point that you mentioned initially. Okay, that stop telling them that they can't do something. Let them fail. Don't rebuke them when they fail. Failure is not a bad thing. Failure is something you absolutely have to do if you want to learn anything new.
Right.
Okay, in schools or even at homes, I have heard of so many parents and teachers say कि why are you doing a particular thing in this way? मैंने जो बोला था वही करो, ऐसे it will not work. You know, something new when the child wants to
Hmm.
try. And then when the bacha tries that, and if the bacha doesn't succeed, then the adult comes back and says, हाँ मैंने तो बोला ही था. You are over smart. So this attitude कि बच्चा को कुछ अलग करना है तो वो करने मत दो. This is the second thing. Now the third concept is called just in time support. Okay. So this is when as an adult, whether a parent or a teacher, whatever, you decide when does this learner need help. Okay. Now, if you give support too early, okay, then the child का self confidence is impacted.
Hmm.
ठीक है? There is a certain amount of struggle that you need the child to do. छोड़ दो उसको, because a lot of parents, like the moment they see that the बच्चा is struggling with something, ना, they will come to rescue the बच्चा. नहीं, उसको थोड़ा try करने दो. Okay, but the other end of it is ki when the bacha goes into the panic zone. Okay, so there are
Hmm.
three zones where a learner can be. One is the comfort zone, where a bacha is doing bar jo usko already aata hai. Okay, then you have the panic zone where the bacha is very far away. Usko wahan pe bhi, like wahan pe the bacha is lost. Okay, and then there is a zone in the middle which is called the growth zone or the zone of proximal development. Okay, so if you have to imagine it like that कि बीच है, सैंड है, और उसके बाद देर इज द सी. ठीक है. नाउ इफ अ चाइल्ड इज जस्ट स्टैंडिंग एट द एज ऑफ द मतलब जस्ट ऑन द सैंड, ठीक है, द चाइल्ड इज कंफर्टेबल विद द चाइल्ड विल नॉट लर्न हाउ टू स्विम. करेक्ट. Similarly, if the child goes in the very deep end of the sea, तो बच्चा will drown. Correct. The ideal spot is somewhere in the middle with
Right.
someone to hold the bachcha ka hand in case the bachcha is struggling.
Right.
Okay. So finding that spot where to jump in to help the child, which is not too early but not too late. This is something that parents can incorporate like from today. And as teachers, I always मतलब for teachers or even parents who are teaching the बच्चा, जो भी पढ़ाना है, find a way to make the child curious about that topic पहले. Okay. Now, इसमें I will go a bit into the neuroscience of it. There are two parts of the brain that are responsible for making a person curious. ठीक है. अब ये थोड़ा technical हो जाएगा. Just edit whichever is too much sciencey.
Yeah, yeah.
ठीक है. So overall, there are 4 steps, okay, to someone becoming curious. First is called prediction error. Our brain is always making prediction. Like you see me talking, you're making some prediction. Or like something as simple as like you walk into a classroom, you expect no koi teacher ka bench hoga, chairware hoga. Okay, so our brain is always making predictions. So the first step of making anyone curious is to break it. So there has to be a prediction error. ठीक है. That is the first thing. Second step is that appraisal phase जो मैंने बोला था पहले कि prediction error तो break कर दिया. I have made the बच्चा or the learner uncertain about something. Okay. But उसके बाद वो बच्चा खुद सोचेगा कि am I capable of resolving this uncertainty or not. Okay. So that is the second step. It's called the PACE framework. Okay, prediction error, appraisal. अगर अप्रेजल में यस हो गया, ब्रेन खुद का अप्रेज करके बोल दिया कि नहीं तुम ये कर सकते हो, फिर आता है सी फॉर क्यूरियोसिटी. तब क्यूरियोसिटी इज स्पार्क्ड एंड ई इज एक्सप्लोरेशन. ओके, सो वंस क्यूरियोसिटी स्पार्क्स यू गो इनटू द एक्सप्लोरेशन मोड. ओके, नाउ देयर आर, ये जो प्रेडिक्शन एरर होता है ना, द फर्स्ट स्टेप, it is detected by two parts of the brain. Okay, one is called the ACC, anterior cingulate cortex. Okay, and it can happen in two ways. For example, if I ask you, does anda float or sink in water, what would you say?
Sink in water.
Sink in water. Now let's say I show you a video where one anda is floating and one anda is sinking. Now it has broken your prediction error, है ना? You had predicted, it broke that prediction. Okay, now you would be curious to know ये कैसे हुआ. ठीक है?
Right.
This is one thing. Okay, second thing is, for example, if I show you a very ambiguous stimuli, now it can be an ambiguous audio stimuli like some sound, or like a photo जो दूर से you can't understand what it is. Okay, then you will want to know कि what is that picture, for example. Okay, so these are the two types of prediction error where the ACC is responsible. फिर आता है the hippocampus. Okay, hippocampus का, for example, let's say Taj Mahal. You're used to seeing the Taj Mahal in a certain way. Okay, if you see a normal picture of Taj Mahal, you will just scroll through it. उसमें कुछ interesting है नहीं. But let's say one day you see Taj Mahal covered in graffiti. Okay, तब you'll be like, if let's say you're scrolling through Instagram and you see Taj Mahal covered in graffiti, तब you'll be like, ये क्या हुआ? Then you will look it up कि what happened to Taj Mahal today.
Right.
है ना? So these are the basic three ways in which you can break prediction error. One is give conflicting information, give ambiguous information, okay, or change the context in which a learner knows something. Okay, now all these three tools can be used to make any topic a bit more interesting. तो कोई भी चीज अगर सिखाना है ना, पहले सोचो कि मैं इसको how can I make the बच्चा want to learn it?
Want to.
And in your head as a teacher, you should know why the बच्चा is studying that, and the answer should not be क्योंकि syllabus में है. Like अगर World War I पढ़ाने जा रहे हो, ठीक है, World War I अगर अभी यहाँ पे let's say इंडिया के कोई क्लासरूम में you are going to teach World War I, you should know कि ये बच्चा को क्यों सीखना है World War I. And your answer cannot be because syllabus में है. Find a reason why. Why is this chapter, this lesson important for my learners to learn? Find that answer, and when you go into your classroom with just these two things, the why, कि ये बच्चे को सीखना क्यों है. Second is that one छोटा सा tool by which you can make that chapter interesting. You will see the learning you might have put in 5 minutes of effort to figure these things out, but the result of it will save you like hours, because so much the kids will learn on their own, so much interest the kids will have on their own. For example, let me tell you, so we all have heard of Pilates.
Yeah.
है ना, अब सबको पता है Pilates. Pilates was invented during World War I. Okay, so now अगर World War I पढ़ाना है, find something which is relevant today. No, don't
Wow.
start with 100 years पहले यूरोप में कौन सा कंट्री किसको अटैक करा था. बच्चों को क्या क्या फर्क पड़ता है.
Yes.
वो
Yes,
कंट्रीज अभी है भी
absolutely.
नहीं, वैसे कंट्रीज ही चेंज हो गया.
Right.
तो you're starting from there. बच्चे will क्यों सुनेंगे वो, कोई there is no reason for them to listen to it. But let's say you start with Pilates. क्या Pilates सबको पता है. हाँ, तुम्हें पता है ये कैसे आया. अब you introduce ना World War I. Now the बच्चेस are hooked. You have given them some context.
It's interesting. It's now when it's that old.
हाँ,
That's how
correct.
the curiosity. इतना पुराना है
Correct.
क्या? We didn't think.
हाँ, तब you go into कि ये कैसे आया था. फिर you go into the details कि हाँ कोई जर्मन सर्कस वो था, they were in UK. वो डिटेल में अभी I'm not going. But basically that is how you can introduce entire World War I, you know, to kids.
But that is very interesting. Yeah. So induce curiosity. I mean, even if you're a parent or an educator, if you're trying to teach something to your child, try to make it interesting in simple words,
Yes.
and then try to teach.
Correct.
And-
Induce curiosity, and you should know why the बच्चा should learn it.
Why should the bacha know it? Induce curiosity and why the kid should know it. That is very important, right? We forget the why. बस
Yeah.
पढ़ा दिया क्यों, किस लिए, why, don't
हाँ.
Super. So, AP, we'll move to a quick rapid fire.
Okay.
Okay. So
ठीक है,
let's
ठीक है.
let's get the answers out for our audience and let's see what they can get out. Okay.
Okay.
So suppose a parent is listening today and has an average child. What's the first thing they should stop doing tomorrow morning?
Wait, can you repeat the question? If a parent is listening,
Suppose a parent is listening today and has a very average child. What is the first thing they should stop doing tomorrow morning?
see, I would say there is no average child. So if a parent thinks that their child is average, then they should try to expose the child to more activities, more avenues, maybe newer teachers, so that they can find what is the topic where the child is not average, because there is actually no average child.
There's no average
Uh,
child. So remove that word
there is
from
no
your
average.
mind first.
Yes, you have to move that word from your mind. Because if there was an average child, the school system would have worked, because the school system is built for an average child. The issue is
It's not
that there is no average child, which is why the system does not work.
interesting. If every teacher in India could change only one classroom habit today, what it should be?
So begin with inducing curiosity. Always begin with inducing curiosity about the topic that you are going to teach.
All right. What would you ask? Okay, that is done. Complete these sentences. Marks are
Extrinsic motivations that kill intrinsic motivations for learning.
failure is
An inevitable part of learning something new. So we should become comfortable with it.
curiosity
Is contagious, and it is also the strongest motivation for learning.
homework should
Homework should be more imaginative, and so teachers should be more creative with the homework that they give, and it should be more individual, so catering to the individual curiosity, individual interests of the child.
parents should stop.
Parents should stop assuming that they are the experts on what and how their child should learn.
Teacher should remember
Teachers should remember to say, I don't know, when a child asks a question that they don't know about. I think we have to normalize not knowing. There shouldn't, so there's a taboo with not knowing, whereas it should be that, okay, I don't know this, but I will look into it and get back to you. So if you want to create a culture of curiosity where people feel safe to not know, it has to begin also with the teachers who have to say that I don't know.
Yeah. The most dangerous sentence adults tell to their children is
Is the question, what do you want to become as an adult?
okay. All right. Success is
Success is personal, but I would say that the most successful people are the ones who took their curiosity to an extreme level.
wow. Took their curiosity to an extreme level. That's a nice one. So, on a closing note, I mean, if every parent remembered just one sentence after watching this conversation, what would you want that sentence to be?
Be curious and raise curious kids who have thinking minds. Kids already have thinking minds, so just don't temper it.
Don't tamper it.
Don't,
They're
don't,
learning on
don't
their own. We started
Correct,
with it.
correct.
They're learning on their
Kids
own.
are born curious, and I mean, it's not even just a human, like even baby monkeys are curious. So it's impossible that a human child is not curious. So there was this experiment that done in 1950s by a scientist. He got a mechanical puzzle, kuch lock walk aisa tha, and he had some baby monkeys in his lab, and he had thought he will give them food reward and motivate them to solve the mechanical puzzle. Okay, and the scientist found out that the baby monkeys, they are apne aap hi solving the puzzle. The baby monkeys did not need an external motivation to follow their curiosity. They started working with the puzzles. Okay, so parents should remember that we are born curious. Just don't dampen it. Let it
Super.
flourish.
Super. We are born Curious, do not dampen it. That's our basic structure. Thank you so much, dear AT, for being on the EST show. It was a pleasure and so much learning today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a great time talking to you.
Thank you.